I was speaking to a group of medical officers in England in January, nurses, doctors, they're Christians. And I was telling them about the power of God beyond our sciences. And I was telling them about a baby in our orphanage. My wife runs motherless children home. And this one was brought by the parents. Not that they drop the baby by the roadside and run away. There are those who do that. We pick them, police pick them, we pick them. We've picked about 80. You're clapping. I'm going to collect money from you before I go. You know what it means to be a father of 80 babies and children, and they live with me. Oh, you are clapping. You know what it means to pay school fees and feed and care. But leave that. That's not even the reason I'm saying what I'm saying. Your clapping is a distraction. This one was brought by the parents and dropped and they left. And for 7 years, we have not seen them again. We are not even looking forward to seeing them again. Now, what happened to this baby? This baby, you know, babies, when they're in their mother's womb, they curve like this. You look at scan, babies inside their mother is curved. It's when they are born, they stretch. Now, this one was born, and she did not stretch. She remained like that. And continued to grow like that. Continued to grow like that till the head touched the leg. It's a mangled human being that turned this around. The backbone is like iron, is stiff. The hands and legs are stiff. If you want to carry the baby, the light is her name. You carry her like women baskets that they use cane to weave. You carry her like this, and you're going. She has buttocks, but she cannot sit. If you put her to sit, you need to support her with pillow on both sides, otherwise she's going to fall to one side or fall to the other side. If you want to feed the light, you go down and look for the mouth from down to put the food to eat. And she can swallow it though. She can't talk. Whenever we have guests visiting the orphanage, we carry her to go and hide. Because it's not a sight you want to show. People are likely to ask what happened, and we can't explain. In the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, we were told they gave the name a disease. The disease has a name, but in this whole world, only 3 people have that type of sickness. And so where are you going to find the medicine? If you find the medicine at all, it will not be in Ilorin. But once in a week, I want to talk about the power of God here. And I want to talk about the power of God at the extreme end of it. I've been privileged to see the power of God in action. I've been privileged to recall the dead. But now I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the one that is not dead, but is not living either. I'm talking about the one that you carry is not a human being. It's like a lizard. It's like an alligator. And it continues to grow. But growing like that, a monster. When the head had reached the leg, and there's no more space for extension, so he began to increase the size. So one day, the role of prayer in power. I can spend a whole day talking about this. I have lived with this all my life. This is what I do for a living. This year is 46 years I've been preaching. And I preach among Muslims. Muslims are not interested in stories. Muslims will only see what they believe what they see. Muslims are not interested in explanations. Muslims will only consider what they can see. And to have run a successful ministry in that kind of environment, you must be somebody who is also able to demonstrate what you are saying. You want to say it, they want to see it. The role of prayer. The role of prayer. Miracle is like an ATM card. And you need to know how to activate it. Prayer is to activate that ATM for it to discharge. Once in a week, the staff in our orphanage will put this child in the middle and be praying and fasting. That's what they do once a week. Praying, oh Lord. They speak in Yoruba, I will interpret. Lóòótọ́ àwa la bí, ṣùgbọ́n àwa kọ́ la dá. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ gbọ́ Yorùbá ǹjẹ́ ǹjọ́yé yín? Wọ́n bímọ náà bí, but àwa kọ́ la dá. As if to indict and hold heaven responsible. Of course, who is supposed to be responsible? That yes, we give birth to this child, but we are not the maker. We are not the creator. In other words, we gave birth to what you created. And this is what you created for us. Can you recreate? Can you recreate? We're calling the creator. We're calling the creator to touch it again. For 6 days, you are making the earth, and you are always working on it until it became what it is. The first time it was not. If it was good enough, you wouldn't come back the next day and then come back the next day. You are working on it every day for 6 days until it became what it is. Can you work on this one, just one touch more? And they did that for years. And they were never going to say, because we prayed the whole of last year and there was nothing happening, we're not going to continue to pray. You continue to pray. Men ought to pray always and not faint. You continue to pray. One day there was a shout in the orphanage, a scream. Hey! And everybody ran out because we live in the bush. I live in an estate of 15 houses. Because each time a group of those children have grown up and they are approaching teenage years, they're developing breasts and becoming girls, then you need to separate them. I have to build a house almost every year or every other year and separate them. You need to separate them. You need to keep separating them. Are you following me? So, we came out, what is it? Could it be a snake bite? Could it be a scorpion sting? Could it be, what is it? And we saw the light where she was. And she was vibrating and stretching. And stretching. And stretching. And continued stretching till she finished stretching. Stretching full length. And while stretching, the hands were also coming up to normal size. The hands were stiff. The legs were stiff and curved. But they were stretching, and flesh was also building on it to grow to normal and correct size. And stretching. And when she had finished stretching, she tried to stand up. When she has finished stretching to a normal size, what ought to have been the normal size if there was no problem? She acquired it on the floor. And when she had finished stretching, she tried to stand up and achieved it after a few minutes, and took a step, and took another step, and took another step, and started walking. And walked up to my wife. My wife was weeping. And walked to my wife and spoke. She had never spoken in her life. The day she stretched was the day she stood. The day she stood was the day she walked. The day she walked was the day she spoke. And we never knew that all the time that people were talking around her over the years, that she was here. But as if that wasn't enough, you could hear and not speak. She got up and expressed herself. And my wife took her to school, where her classmates and age mates were, and asked that they should move and create room for her. You have left her behind, now she has come. And asked them to move, and gave her a seat among them. And mysteriously, she understood what they were teaching. This cannot be normal. Then you sit down there and say there is no power of God. We will leave you behind. It's as if God was making a human being in one day. And I said to you in this house that there is nothing God cannot do.